Hello and welcome to Archfelder's Hacks with Archfelder and his amazing hacks. Now this video is all about bugs in World of Warcraft, and for a change I'm not going to be causing chaos in WoW but trying to fix it. These are actual bugs that hinder the player experience, and where possible I'm going to be showing you workarounds or fixes for these bugs which Blizzard never deal with. Let's start with an easy one. This happens quite a lot for random reasons. The damage numbers simply stop showing altogether, and it becomes very difficult to know whether you're hitting the right area and doing enough damage. The fix for this one is very straightforward, and it happens so often I have it actually bound to my subbars. Just use this macro. You can cut and paste it from the description box below into your chat box. It works like magic, as you can see here. There's a separate one for healing. If for some reason you want to turn the damage or healing numbers off, set the value to 0 in the macro. This next bug is very common, and it's the disconnect that occurs when you fall through the world. It used to be the case that your character just died and res somewhere in the next graveyard when this happened. But for reasons that make no sense and suggest complete incompetence of Blizzard, they decided to make it so that if you accidentally glitch through the terrain, you end up in an infinite disconnect loop. Yes, you read that right, an infinite disconnect loop. Because Blizzard messed up your character, it gets trapped in limbo. Thanks for that, Blizzard designer. You are a massive penis. Now, fortunately, there is a solution to this problem, and it works at least 40% of the time. Just type in WoW character stuck into a search engine. You should get an option to log into your Battle.net account, and then the opportunity to teleport your character to a safe location. Unfortunately, the website or the functionality for this is often just not working. If this option is down, you may have to wait as much as a couple of days. Don't bother contacting Blizzard, they don't give a toss, and no human will read, let alone respond to your claim. I'm sorry. This one happens a lot in PvP. You get very limited amount of information on the scoreboard. No kills or damage or anything you might actually want to track. This is, however, very easily resolved. Just type /reload. This will fix it instantly. In fact, /reload is an extremely useful option for fixing all types of things generally. If you get some random error, especially any kind of residual display glitch, it's worth trying it to see if it clears the error. Have you ever had all the NPCs in Warcraft disappear in front of your eyes? This is what happens when the game lags due to internet connection problems. It is a special game state. For around 8 seconds, players and NPCs will appear static in-game when you disconnect. After that time, when you leave the area, they vanish altogether and you are walking around an entirely empty world. There's some very interesting things about this special state. Many game mechanics don't apply. Explorers often use lag to explore areas that would normally be impossible to access. Strangely, if you are mounted when you disconnect, you can fly in dismounted form. The solution to this is to simply repair your internet connection. It isn't a Blizzard-related problem. Lag is one of the most powerful tools you can use to obtain creative game advantages. You can stealth past NPCs and other players, or you can extend speed buffs or flying buffs. Do all kinds of crazy stuff. If you're interested in this darker side of WoW, then you may be interested in joining my Patreon, where we have methods to induce lag and to benefit from its effects. Very often when doing older quests, you'll find an NPC quest giver marked on the map that just isn't there. This is almost always because of a conflict between two quests, which each phase a different area in a different way. When one quest takes precedence over the other, you often can't access the quest giver you need. But the solution here is generally to look up the quest you are doing on Wowhead. There will often be people with the same issue as you who will explain what quests you need to complete or drop in a helpful post. Special mention here should be made of archivist Elysiana, who can restart the Legion quests for you. Also worth mentioning is that the Vashir intro quest is notoriously susceptible to being phased out due to other quests and also causing problems for other quests. Here's a bug which isn't actually a bug, but happens so often and confuses so many people, I thought I'd cover it anyway. Players hit 35 and find that they suddenly can one-shot mobs, but no experience is being awarded. Players are often concerned that they have glitched the game in some way and worried that they may be banned for exploiting. This is actually a feature of the game. If you do not have Chromie time walking on, then when you outlevel a zone, the legacy damage buff kicks in and you can one-shot anything. But this is usually irrelevant because zones you outlevel award no experience. You can resolve this problem by visiting Chromie and turning on time walking for the relevant zone. That will cause mobs to scale to your level and award full experience again. Here's one that often affects Cataclysm Classic players, but will also affect anyone doing Cataclysm content in the modern version of the game. You reach a point where you haven't completed the quests for a zone, but no more quests for a zone appear. This is just a relic of an older style of game design where things weren't as clearly signposted as they tend to be nowadays. I can almost always solve this problem by flying around a zone until I find an exclamation mark somewhere. This generally won't take you longer than about 10 minutes at the most, and you'll get an exploration achievement in the process. Special mention should be made here of Mount Hajal. Ysera at Nordrassil will tell you which shrines to complete when quests appear to dry up, which should give you a strong clue as to which area to search for the quest that you passed over. This next glitch has affected almost everybody at some point. Basically, you get stuck in combat and you can't get out of it no matter how many things you kill around you. I remember this affecting me very much when I was first questing through Mechagon, but it happens in a lot of places. The culprit is usually other NPCs in combat, or something like a critter or a totem or something you wouldn't normally notice, which hasn't been killed and is keeping you in combat. The nuclear solution to this is to simply close your client with Alt F4 and log back in again after a minute. That always fixes the problem. Rogues often complain about being pulled out of stealth for no apparent reason. There's no solution to this one, certainly. It happens because Blizzard code a lot of things quite sloppily, and items which have no offensive capability and do no damage often technically are damage attacks. For example, the engineering item Looterang would notoriously bring rogues out of stealth. There's almost always something weird in every patch that shouldn't bring rogues out of stealth that actually does. There's currently a crafting item which is supposed to be just used for utility. The only solution to this problem is to complain to Blizzard, who will then ignore you. I discovered that this next bug was affecting vast numbers of players in a video about the talented YouTuber Erosium, whose account was recently banned and then reinstated by Blizzard. Numerous players told me they had been banned themselves for no good reason. This is often caused by long farming sessions. You can also be banned by being mass reported by trolls or griefers, as Blizzard don't check and don't care what the reason is. The process is entirely automatic. Blizzard then try and gaslight players by claiming they have investigated the issue, which they definitely and verifiably don't, because that is expensive. The only solution to this is avoid any kind of competitive content in Warcraft at all. So hopefully this has helped some of you. I'm aware that unfortunately, because of the vast amount of problems with World of Warcraft in many niche areas I couldn't possibly cover in one video, a lot of you will still be feeling frustrated. Perhaps those of you who did manage to fix some issue you had could contribute the fix or solution that you came up with in order to help each other. One of the best things about my videos is actually the comments section, which sounds like a piece of self-deprecating humor, but it's actually true. The comments section is just amazing and contains a lot of really valuable wisdom. So if you are experiencing frustration with one or more issues, just have a quick scan through to see if someone might have covered that issue. And if you want to turn Blizzard's appalling and sloppy game design to your advantage, then the darkest secrets of exploitation can be found on my Patreon.